Okay, now you should be able to hear me. I don't know why it's not set to my current microphone. Okay. Oh boy. Okay. So I wanted to say, well, I'm just going to say hello to everyone who's here. Let me know if the audio is a little loud or something. And no, the music's loud on my end. We'll do that. Lower my headset volume a little bit so I can hear myself think. But hello everyone. Today I'm doing a stream on A Divine Calling by Jingal Games. They started their Kickstarter for this game at the beginning of the month. They got 26 days left to go, and they're already a third of the way to their goal. So I'm going to go over a little bit more of their Kickstarter later in the stream. I just kind of wanted to start it by showing the thing. If you do, I believe I set it up for exclamation Divine Calling. Yeah, you get the link to the actual, well, not the perfect link, but a link to the Kickstarter. So let's go ahead and start to get dug in here. I'm going to bring up their press kit. And actually, I was also sent a couple of images to kind of go along with this. I didn't get them set up on the stream itself, but I'm going to go ahead and share them just because I think they look cool. So first one is this one. Some sort of like wind person, which looks pretty cool and dope. And then there's this one. And I gotta say, this hits all of the niches that I like of modern day. I mean, cell phone, magic. What more can a guy want? Right? Like, I'm a simple guy. I have very simple needs. And this is hitting it. So, their press kit that they sent, very base bones, but it gives the good idea of what it's for. So, Divine Calling is a TTRPG where you play as a high schooler who is chosen of the gods. They must pass mass class while stopping an ancient evil cult known as the Order of the Void from killing all the gods. So I believe the core idea was to kind of feel like some of those high school hero TV shows. I'm thinking of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, at least in the first few seasons. I think later on it became less of a high school thing, but I don't remember actually. But there's a couple of them like that. It's a 2d6 system, so don't need too many dice, it seems, which is great. You need at least one lore weaver, which is the term for the GM, and 4 to 6 other players. It's created for short form games, which from 4 hours to 4 sessions. And long form games are perfect for 10 to 30 sessions. So, a couple of other things, but I am ready to actually do the proper kick into this. So, this I'm actually really excited to look into this. Before I start like going over and reading into these, if you ever guys want me to like slow down, or if you have a question, we can like look for it together. This is a first look, but I'm doing it with you all. So, in that mindset, I'm actually going to make this easier for you guys to see. So, yeah. It was a part of the playtest. That's amazing. I actually have not looked at any of the rules. I can't tell if this is going to be a good middle point, but we'll move. We'll adjust. We'll adapt. We'll overcome. So, A Divine Calling, created by Crystal Norton. I am so excited to finally have this and to being able to check it out. So, go down. So we got a... Oh, this is about a 65-foot page book. I'm going to promise right now I'm probably not going to read through all of this today, just because, I mean, I've scheduled for 2 hours of this, and I just know myself. So, yeah, we'll go into this. So the introduction. High school is supposed to be the best years of your life. You will hopefully look back on the friends and memories you made fondly, getting to know classmates, hanging out at football games, and even dealing with the drama before prom can make the 4 years feels incredibly thrilling to a teenager. Fun fact, I did not go to prom. Uh, uh, hey, Timbo! But what if there was more? More than just going to class, doing homework, and awkward first places and tearful backups? What if you could also be a chosen of a god? Elise has always been quite a loner. She keeps to herself, loves eating her mother's famous peanut butter and raspberry jelly sandwiches for lunch, and really enjoys music, despite thinking she isn't good enough to join the school's orchestra, refusing to the last chair in anything. She believes it's best not to try. Ooh. On a cloudy night, she tosses and turns in her bed. A voice calls out to her, Elise, wake up. Her eyes open to the lush garden with a lavish pond and white marble. Before her, a tanned man with the gold adorning his skin lounges on the edge of the pond. His feet dangle delicately, barely scraping the surface of the water, as if interestedly. He looks up from the pond at Elise, a soft smile on his lips. I was wondering when you would show up, the stranger said. Elise should feel scared. She should step back, but she finds her propelled forward. She walks toward the man, observing him, taking in the sights before her. Oh, I should get rid of that promo thing, because I don't think that link works anymore. Ah, beans. Anyways, I was wondering when you showed up, the stranger says. Elise should feel scared. Oh, I already read that. Where am I? Mount Olympus, of course, the stranger replies. Elise nods very slowly, recognizing that this is just a dream. This isn't a dream, dear. This is an introduction. My name is Apollo, and I have chosen you to be my host. Ah. Okay. Okay. What does that mean? Elise asked, trying to remember when she said her suspicions. She never did. He just read her mind? It means that you will be the eyes and ears on Earth. I will need my powers to keep the Earth safe from the void, and you are the ancient cold who seek to destroy the gods, plunging the world into darkness. Use my powers wisely, and watch out for classmates wearing necklaces made of black pearl. Okay. I don't understand, Lee says, starting to fill her voice. Everything around her began to turn hazy. What's going on? The pond melts the marble, and Elise feels as if she's going to fall off into the void, but Apollo's eyes, stare at her. They never move or fade. They are still there, watching her, until the last possible second. When you need me, always remember the sun is your friend, Apollo says, as the sound of Elise's arm brings her back to the waking world. As she looks around, still confused from her dream, she notices that she is now wearing a golden charm bracelet with 7 different sun charms. Each one just a little different, as if each charm was collected from a different jewelry store. Each time it jingled, she could hear the pond, and she could feel Apollo's eyes staring back at her, as everything spins in and on itself. Remember, the sun is your friend, echoes through her mind as she moves her arm and the charms jingle. This is starting to feel real. Ooh. In A Divine Calling, players in the GM are referred to as hosts in the Lore Weaver. Together, they work as a team to weave an epic where the host must take down an ancient cult as the Void. Each host must balance school life and the life of the Chosen One. They must find a date to prom, finish their homework on time, and find a way not to become a social outcast. All the while, they must listen to their deity and find the void before it is too late. They hold the fate of the world and their deity in their hands. Too much delay, and everyone will be plunged into a world of darkness where chaos reigns. How will your host manage a regular high school life while saving the world? This sounds so rad. That was a great intro. Um, so, I'm already getting really good feelings. Kind of curious how the deities are done, if it's going to be kind of like a make your own, or if there's going to be presets. Um, just because like that is always interesting to me and how that's kind of handled. Uh, so going into character creation, I'm going to kind of do a little bit of trimming on this. So you start with a character sheet, which is located at the end of the book. You'll notice it is broken into sections: character information, click, deity type, and powers. First is their name and their pronouns. Fuck yeah. Character name doesn't have to be associated with their pantheon, but it's always fun when it is. Don't forget that pronouns are an important part of the character's identities, so try your best to use the correct ones for each character at the table. Next, you'll want to assign your click. Your host has joined. You'll notice each click has a bane, which makes you write. Make sure you write this bane down in the bane section of your character sheet. Each click also gives you a bonus to one or two different stats. Make sure you mark your bonuses in the corresponding stat boxes as well. As you pick your click, keep in mind some questions. How does your click affect your host? For popular kids, how do you feel about social hierarchy? Would life be easier without it? Jocks, what sport do you play? Are you really any good at it, or do you just play because it's part of what your parents want? Oh, good. I got the hiccups. Okay. Once you have your click decided, it's time to choose your deity type. Okay, so it's going to be like a deity type thing. Each has 5 different abilities. Each ability is unlocked based on what level you are. In this game, you level up with each milestone. For example, maybe your group just thwarted the Void's plan to rig the student council election. Now your deity has rewarded with more abilities, so you can continue to fight Void. Okay, milestone leveling. Really great for story-focused games. Very much what I really like to see. That's why it feels like the kerning is way too separated, but that's... yeah, it's constant. Might be a fun thing. It's gonna bug me, but I'm weird about that stuff. Okay. Once you have done this, fill out your deity's name. You can choose any deity and in the Pantheon, so long as you discuss it with your lore weaver. Okay. And obviously, if your lore weaver is okay, you might be able to do things that maybe not are considered traditional deities. That was one of the favorite things that I liked to do when I did games of the tabletop game Scion, which is also kind of very similar, but they had preset gods, so if you wanted to do anything that strayed from it, you had to custom your own gods. Okay. After you have selected your deity, you make 2. And obviously that game was a lot different focused in what this is going to be. The deity, you make 2 non-player characters. These characters have important relationships to your character. These characters will be piloted by the lore weaver. Use the relationships to create a more immersive world in which they can better roleplay with the host. Okay. NPC sheet is also found at the end of the book. You need to make at least 2 NPCs, but it's okay if your table as a whole to make more. As you make NPCs, keep in mind the relationship between the characters. Are you making a senior who has snot-nosed brat of a sibling who just entered school as a freshman? Or are you making a freshman who has to live up to the reputation created by their older sibling? Maybe you're making someone your significant other. Is your lore weaver okay role-playing romance at the table? If not, consider changing the character you've made, or discuss the extent to your lore weaver. You'll want to go with roleplay. I feel like this would be a great time, yeah. Started right here, talking about session 0. Discussed later in this book. This is when you'll create the social pyramid, fill out your social level. You also create the strings of fate. Okay, so that does not cover actual like game flags and such, but we kind of are hinted at it by, well, I guess I don't know what the social pyramid. I'm assuming that's a mechanic thing with like relationships for your characters. So that is one thing. Obviously, this is still being worked on. I mean, it's still going on with Kickstarter, so I would say have like a little sidebar note about uh, roleplay barriers and whatnot, especially for session zeros. So the game relies on a balance between mundane activities like going to class, fantastical animals like slaying cult members using powers given to you by your deity. I love the fact of slaying cult members, like not even hiding the fact that these cult members are probably going to die. Because I know like sometimes when the TV series that are, you know, you're playing a chosen of a god, like they don't say outright that you kill these individual, but like then you have times where like no, that's pretty much murder. uh okay. So yeah, character creation was pretty straightforward. So in this game, there are 4 main stats: physical, mental, social, and divine. All of these are broken up into multiple actions, giving you a suggestive but not exhaustive list of options for dice rolls. Each click and deity type gives you different bonuses or banes to the stats. Physical. The physical stat refers to the use of your physical body to do an action. Jocks and some fine art students gain bonuses to the stat, while popular and stoner kids will receive banners to some of these actions. There are 6 different actions you can take using the physical stat: attack, defend, evade, capture, sneak, and flee. Pretty straightforward. And then there's the mental ones for the use of mental things: investigation, knowledge, creativity. Okay, so that's like visual literacy and culinary arts. Okay. Heal and intuition, which is like reading into someone or something. Okay. A vibe check. You know? On point. Social. Sway someone. Lie to someone. Ruin someone. Oh, so like make fun of them. Okay. Calm down and perform your heart out. Okay. Yeah, no, I vibe with that. Divine. Use an ability. Act of acknowledgement. That sounds interesting. This role gives the host a chance to connect with her deity and build on their relationship without having to talk to them directly. Building connection with the deity is an important part of the game, as deities can give you extra bonuses for doing what they ask. That sounds really interesting, really rad. Tap into what you once knew. That also sounds interesting. So you ask your deity a question. See you later, Blaze. Thanks for popping in. Oh, and left right when the ad started. Okay. Ask your deity a question, though may or may not answer. You will use this roll to communicate with your deity through objects given to you, or roll before you go to bed to talk to them in dreams. For example, if Elise wants to talk to Apollo and ask him a question through Charm Bracelet, she will make a divine roll. Upon a success, she will be able to talk to him in her Charm Bracelet. Does not activate her crown, which can be seen by other hosts and members of the Void. Oh! Okay. That is really interesting, actually. Kind of like a way of communicating that to the deity to get like helps and whatnot. Okay. Okay. So going into the next bit is clicks and deity types. On how to build a character. Each host will have to choose a click and a deity type. There are 10 different clicks, each based on a different type of high schooler, such as a jock or the loner. There are 20 deity types based on a general category that they might fall into, such as sun or magic. Okay. Like most average high school students, each player has been assigned a label by their peers. For example, Elise, the new host from the introduction, is considered a loner. She doesn't have friends at school and spends most of her time doing homework and sleeping in her room. This gives her bonuses to two stats of her choice, such as a divine and mental, and a bane to her social stat. The click represents who the host is on the day to day. Elise may find maybe a funny friend when it comes to those she loves and trusts, but at school she is quiet and don't put much energy into social rush, which puts her in a loner click. You can find the 10 clicks along with her bonuses and banes listed below. Fine arts. Fine arts kids come in multiple different breeds, from artists to band geeks. Each member of the fine arts clique puts their heart and soul into each piece of art they create. Anyone can be seen as a fine arts student, and so as long as participating in any art form. Yes, that includes your culinary quiz. Fine art gets a +2 to your social stat, or a +2 to your physical stat, depending on if you're doing performance or visual art. Bane, not my hands. If you critically fail at an attack roll, your next defense roll gets a -2. Then there's the floaters, are kids who don't have a set social group. They move easily between cliques and aren't really disliked by anyone. They choose to stay out of drama, performing to spend time with their other students for the fun times, and know to break away from a group before things get messy. Floaters get +2 to one stat of your choice. You can choose between physical, social, mental, and divine. Bane, imposter syndrome. When you make a... I feel like everyone got that Bane. When you make your first critical failure of the in-game day, your next roll for that skill, not including divine, gets a -2. Okay. Goth kids are dressed in black and dark clothes all year. It doesn't matter if it's 105 out or not. You can usually find them huddled together under a UV blocking umbrella out on the quad, discussing the latest vampire novel or the existence of a ghost in school's theater. In the end, they're loyal friends who might just have a touch of society. Yo, same. Goths gets +2 to your divine stat. You know, that's fair. Telltale Heart. You critically fail a calm down roll. Your next roll gets a -2. Okay. I'm really loving the vibe of all these. This is great. I'm enjoying myself. Jocks play sports, not really known for much else. Normally, jocks are also considered popular kids, but you can be a jock and not be popular. The captain of the girls' basketball team and the bench warmer for the JV hockey team would be both considered jocks, even if the bench warmer doesn't have much social pull as the captain. People who choose the type lets their love of the sports they play define them, even if the friend ends friendships and ruins their grades. Oh. Jocks get a +2 to their physical stat. And actually, if you critically fail a knowledge roll, your next roll gets a -2. That rough, buddy. That is rough. Okay, now there's the loner, which is who canonically the example character got or was. Loners are the kids who want nothing more than to go to school and then go home. They don't care about socializing and just want to make it through high school, hoping that they can find a career after graduation that doesn't require developing too many human relationships. They get good at anything, as long as it doesn't get them home in a timely manner without having to talk to too many people. Loners get +1 to 2 stats of your choice. Okay. And then the Bane, who are you? When you critically fail a ruin someone roll, the person you attempted to ruin gets a +2 to on you. That is the first time you're giving a +2 to someone else with these Banes. So that's interesting, instead of taking an additional -2 on something. Nerds, much like overachievers, usually have good grades. However, they don't care about their social standing and tend to be nerdy shows, books, and/or games. They tend to be at the bottom of the social ladder. If you could one day walk into an interview and see them as your next boss, nerds get a +2 to mental stat, and they have a teacher's pet fame, which if you critically fail to lie to someone roll, you lie to someone roll, your next lie to someone gets a -2. Oof. They have to tell the truth. Nothing but the truth. Overachiever. Strive to do the most and do it best. Known as the gifted kids, they have the hectic schedules and they don't handle failure well. They do every extracurricular in the book and get straight A's, which can lead them to feeling exhausted. If they don't find time to rest, they will find their grades start to suffer. Overachievers get a +1 to the social stat and the mental stat. No choice. That is what they get. Gifted kid burnout is their bane. If you critically fail a knowledge roll, your next knowledge roll gets a -2. Oof. Most people like to look up to the popular kids. They are known to ruin the school with a mixture of charm and money, and they have the best clothes, the latest tech. Everything seems to be handed to them on a silver platter. They have the equivalent of a high school royalty being at the top of the food chain with all eyes on them. Popular kids get a +2 for your social stat. Paparazzi. If you critically fail a sneak roll, your next sneak roll gets a -2. Okay. Stoner kids. Always have the best hookups and they don't let anything that's going on bother them. While you may not have always seen them in class, you might find them in the bathroom if you need some help with your math homework. These kids always make best friends since they know where the best food can be found, but be careful, associating with them too much can land you right into the principal's office. Starters get a +1 mental and a +1 divine, but it's legal is their bane. Perfect. If you critically failed an evade roll, your next evade roll gets a -2. Ah, yes, the weeb. Weebs are master of secret ninja arts, well versed in Japanese cultures, and pirates to boot. They can be found watching anime, reading manga, cosplaying the latest white-haired hottie, or collecting their favorite waifus action figures at the local anime convention. Man, you guys get local anime conventions? I kid. Kinda. You just get a +1 to 2 stats of your choice. You can choose physical, mental, social, and divine. Waifu meltdown. If you critically fail a sway someone roll, your next sway someone roll gets a -2. Okay. So that is all of the clicks. Kind of gonna slow down and talk about them. I think I do like the place where the headspace is at. I would kind of like it if there was more to it, maybe some more roleplay direction or something. I guess I don't know, because like these are supposed to be kind of huge within the high school stories. I think so. Getting some pluses to stats and then a bane just doesn't feel enough. Maybe if there's, but maybe I'm of course, obviously, this is more story focused, so maybe that allows you to kind of play your very own distinct person without like hitting it hard. Um, I mean, heck, maybe some guidance in the terms of some NPC variations and such that you might see in these clicks would be interesting. Both maybe a student example, and I would love it if there was some non-student examples. Because obviously at the school you'll have like in other supporting NPCs you would have adults that may fit into these click type concepts. But obviously, I mean, where the headspace is, I really do like it. Very straightforward, allows for a lot of flexibility for a lot of these. Though it does kind of feel bad that some of them you get to do your own choice, and then some of them you have no choice. Like the stoner and the popular, they are predetermined. So I kind of wonder if maybe there is a way of giving them an additional choice, because players love choices especially when it's straightforward choices. Um, and it could be as easy as just saying like get a +1 to your social stat and then +1 to something else for the popular one. The stoner, I don't know. That I don't know how I would do that because that is such a weird concept in and of itself. For like, it makes sense as a click, but there's not enough common, I guess, lore to kind of like get in there that makes sense in the terms of the game, unless we. I don't know. Also, I think would be really neat is like maybe if there was like a item loadout or something for each one of these groupings. That'd be kind of cool and kind of help. But maybe I'm thinking that because the stoner probably's item loadout would be really easy to figure out. um, so, going to the next bit, we got the deity types. So, in a divine calling, players will be playing as hosts, mortal beings who house a powerful deity inside them. Each deity grants abilities based on their own type. As the host grows with their deity, they become more powerful. In our example, Elise is the host to the deity Apollo. Apollo is considered a sun deity as well as the deity of medicine and art. He can be used for any of these types, but Elise's player decided to make her a sun deity host. Neat! Deities have been broken into 20 types. Each deity type has an example from Greek mythology, but you can have a deity from any mythology, or you can make it one up. Each deity has their own personality when it comes to their type. The host and lore weaver should work together to discuss the deity and how they will interact with the player. Each person will have the ability to communicate with their deity, though dreams or special items bestowed upon them by their deity during the dream. Players can have the same deity. For example, someone can be a fine arts host of Apollo, and another person could be a sun host of Apollo. It is up to the lore weaver if two players can be the same deity type and have the same deity. I guess that makes sense. Would be kind of weird, but yeah. Air deities make their host light as a feather and knowledgeable to boot. They will often seek out hosts who prefer to find information and that use their minds to get what they want, usually finding their way by riding the wings of achievement to reach new heights. An example of an air deity is Boreas from Greek mythology. As an air deity host, he will receive special abilities with each level up. Level ups are given up by the lore weaver after major accomplishments have been reached. According to the epic they are weaving. Their abilities are as follows. So, and each one has up to 5 things, so max level 5 in theory. Though I guess it never said that. Okay, that is something to kind of like look at and see later, and wonder if like there's thoughts towards multi-classing, if that's going to be allowed, or in quotes multi-classing being like the multiple things for one deity or something. As an air deity host, you will receive special abilities with each level up. Level ups are given. Yeah, I already read that. Whoops. So, level 1, knowledge from above. Host is always whispering knowledge in your ear, giving you a +1 to all knowledge rolls. Oh. Okay. Open-minded. By always looking at the big picture, you get a +2 to investigation. As air, you and other hosts you are allied with have a +1 to evade. Breath of Life. Upon a successful divine roll, a character is not breathing or is choking. You can touch them and grant them the ability to breathe again. This does not allow them to breathe underwater. Dang. That'd be great, though. Just being able to go, and you breathe underwater, it's fine. On a successful divine roll, you and your other person can levitate. If you fail any type of roll while flying, you both float down safely. If you critically fail any type of roll while flying, you both crash land and take 1d6. 1 damage, with 1 being the minimum amount of damage you can take. Oh, -1. Okay. So either 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Nice. Actually, that's a good question. I don't remember reading anything about health, so maybe that'll be popped up later. So art, I can do that. +1 to either perform or creativity. This should be non-dominant role. For example, someone who paints would get a +1 to their perform, and someone who dances gets a +1 to their creativity. Okay. Expert +2 to either perform or creativity. This should be your dominant role. So you become much better to the thing you're actually good at. Muse, when you reach this level, you can choose to give your allies a +1 to either mental or social. This choice cannot change once it has been made. I wonder if this is considering you as an ally yourself, so that you also gain the benefit, because if not, that feels weird to give everyone else a bonus. But I mean, I guess in that sense, and I mean, I don't know. Critical features for creativity and perform roles count as normal failures for you. Nice. Then you wouldn't be able to actually fail on creativity and perform, or to critically fail, which is rad. Upon a successful divine roll, you can rewrite the story by causing someone who has critically failed a roll to get a critical success. You can do this once per day. Upon your failure, your next roll is considered critical failure. Oh, dang. Okay, and then there's the creation. Wait, okay. Creation. Making little helpers, making items. This is the type of individual that I would be rolling up. So, stretch, stretch, stretch. Gotta take a quick drink from my soda. Oh, dang. Okay. So, going back, building blocks. You love to build and get a +1 to all creative rolls. Sculpting, you can mend flesh and bone, giving you a +2 to heal. That is interesting, giving the crafter individuals capability of healing by like a huge bit, actually. Upon a successful divine roll, you are able to sculpt and create a 6-inch golem from clay. Listens to your health commands, and you can send it up a mile away from you. It has health the character at level 1, and can do all of actions. It can't think for itself, or act for itself. If the golem drops to 0, it must be remade. Okay, confused thoughts. Your golem can now think for itself, and it can choose to take actions that help you on its own without you having to tell it to. At the stage, and moving forward for the Lore Weaver controls the golem when you are not giving it direct commands. The golem always acts in ways favorable to the host. Infuse consciousness. Upon a successful divine roll, you can give your golem the ability to think for itself and speak. You can choose to let it be its own person or to be a physical host for your deity, keeping them safe from the void. Additionally, it can now be up to 1 foot tall and has the health of a level 2 character. If you fail your divine roll, the golem turns against you. I want to know more about this part of the option of becoming a physical host for the deity. Like, obviously, I don't think you lose your benefits, but does that mean that they take on a thing as well from these and get up to level 2 ability? Or is this not actually as, or is this just this is just another way for your deity to kind of, like, interact with you? Hmm. I'm highlighting it because I wanna actually ask that question to creator when I get a chance. Uh, okay, so we go into the death deities. Death deities allow their host to draw on the knowledge of those who have passed while being able to stay calm under pressure. They will often seek hosts who have unique connections to another world, preferring to interact with otherworldly beings and finding peace for the people on the other side. Okay, so example is Hades. Makes full sense. Awesome, awesome. Uh, so level 1, they get knowledge beyond their years. Your connection to the spirits will be a +1 to knowledge rolls. Level 2 is Eye for Difference. Your critical eye gives you a +2 to investigation rolls. Level 3, you get upon a successful divine roll, you can re-roll 1d6, taking their higher rolled. The higher roll. Okay. Uh, pass through. You, upon a successful divine roll, you automatically pass a sneak. Oh. Hey, thanks, Words1. Thank you so much. You're amazing. I got scared for a second because I was like, oh god, I forgot. I forgot that was my sound. Doot. Where was I? Pass through. Upon a successful divine roll, you will automatically pass a sneak roll by passing through the underworld to get where you are going. Upon a failure, you stuck in the underworld and must pass a divine roll to exit. Oof. Spirit Helper. Upon a successful divine roll, you get a Spirit Helper. They last for 24 hours, can be seen by hosts and members of the Void. You may ask for them to be calling them on their memories of their life. They'll need to make a divine roll. Upon success, they will be able to give you the correct answer to the question. Your spirit is incorporeal and only becomes corporeal to attack for you. They use your attack bonus, and all their attacks do 1d6 -1 damage. That's interesting. Earth. So, harder to hit, now to +1 to your defense rolls. Formidable. Like Mountain, you can impose a -1 to opponent's attack rolls. Sturdy, when you're hit with an attack, you roll a d6, subtract that number from the damage you would have taken, reducing it to 0 if you're lucky. Upon a successful divine roll, you can create walls from the earth around you, and they can be a max of 6 feet tall, 6 feet wide, 1 foot thick, and you can have the max of 2 walls up at once. Upon failure, are unstable and crack or crumble at any point. Vibrations. Upon a successful divine roll, you can sense the location of people within 60 feet around you. You can tell how many of these people there are and where they're located. You can also tell if they're a host or a member of the Void. Okay, yeah. Fauna. So this is specifically Animal Kingdom, okay. Such as the quickness of a route or echolocation of a bat. Awesome, possum. And each one of these abilities is based off of an animal. Awesome, possum. Well, there's no possum, so I guess it can't be awesome possum. Awesome rabbit? I don't know. Rabbit, you are quick on your feet, and much like the rabbit, can add a +1 to evade. You're strong and protective to everyone as a bear, and everything you care about, so you can add a +2 to attacks. Elephant. They say elephants never forget, neither do you, so you can add a +2 to your knowledge rolls. Turtle. Upon a successful divine roll, you get a +3 to defense and can hold your breath for up to 6 minutes, much like a turtle. You know that upon a successful divine roll, you get a +3 to flee. You can use echolocation to find your way in the dark, and when you're blinded. Upon a failure, a brain kicks in, and you have a -2 to your next sight-based roll. Okay. But then there's fire, like Hephaestus. Hmm. So you get burn, +1 to ruin someone. Oh, I see. See, I seen burn, and I was like, okay, that's gonna be an attack action. No, it is burn as in, burn. Oh. You have studied the way of fire moves as it burns. You get a +2 to evade. Plus passion, you have a +1 knowledge rolls. Also, you have an additional +1 to knowledge rolls when you are about your passions. Pick 2 topics to be your passions. Burnout. Upon a critical failure, you make a divine roll. If you succeed, the critical failure is turned to a normal successes. Upon a failure, your next roll is automatic critical failure. Hmm. That's interesting. So, if you critically fail once, you can then use this ability and make a divine roll. If you do so and succeed, it becomes a normal success. Upon a failure, the next roll is a critical failure, so you get 2 critical failures. Huh. I like that. When you get a critical success on an attack roll, you can set them on fire. This does an extra d6 of damage on your turn. I'm fine with that. I love that they avoided doing extra damage and all that, like extra combat stuff, which would have been like the super easy thing to do, is just going straight for fire means attack, aggression, go, go, go. And just was like, nah, it's about like social manipulation first, and then evading, and then doing all that, and then the last one, finally about actually doing the aggressive action. I'm okay with that. I like that. Flora! Huzzah! Flowers. Flower power. Which is actually a name of a level thing. Heck yeah! I guess that is socially like that makes sense actually, because that is a common enough saying because of media that yeah. Pine tree. You are resilient and can add 1 to your defense rolls when defending yourself. Oak tree. Wise as an oak, you can add a +1 to all knowledge rolls and a +2 to all knowledge rolls for plants. Flower power. When using flowers, you and your allies can add a +1 to social rolls. And this just says when using flowers, so you could literally just be like, give your friends like flower crowns and be like, there you go, buddy. Now you're just people like you more, man. Vines. Upon a critical success on attack roll, you can restrain the enemies with vines without making a capture roll. Sunflower. When injured, you can heal from the sun after a successful divine roll. Use standard healing rules after a successful roll. Oh. Rad. Hearth. So Hearth deities allow their host to heal and bolster their allies by using their connection to their home. Okay, and this would be Hestia, yeah. Cool. So level 1, they get a +1 to creativity when cooking. Level 2, they get location knowledge. As long as you're in a location, you have a +2 to evade. Level 3, You get a home field advantage. As long as you're in a location, you know, you and your allies have a +2 defend and +1 to flee. Okay, food for the soul. Upon a successful divine roll, you can infuse healing into your food. I'll roll a d6, and anyone who eats the food heals for that much. Upon failure, anyone who eats the food will take that. Oh, um, can you choose to fail? If you can choose to fail, then like, hmm. Or I guess if the character knows if they did well or not. That could be interesting. Upon a successful divine roll, you can designate a single room, no bigger than a living room, as a sanctuary. When people yell out to enter, may enter this room. Skirmishes cannot happen in this room, and anyone who tries to start one will automatically be teleported out. Healing is also maximized while in this room. This can only be used once a day and lasts for 2 hours. Okay, I'm okay with that. That sounds really cool. I love sanctuary abilities. Sanctuary! Knowledge deities give the wisdom of the gods, allowing their hosts to intellectually transcend beyond the people around them. An example of knowledge deity is Athena from Greek mythology. As a knowledge deity host, you will receive special abilities with each level up. Yeah, that was just like the other ones. My brain was just reading. Okay, so knowledge, first level, logical fallacy. You know how to twist all your words. Oh, this gives you a +1 to lie to someone. Oh no. Well read. You are always reading books. This gives you a +2 to knowledge rolls. Always seeing. If you're familiar with the area, you and your other allied host gets a +1 to investigate. Rad. Chess. Upon a successful divine roll, you can give one other player the ability to re-roll a physical roll during a skirmish. You can do this twice per day. Upon a failure, the other player's roll is considered a critical failure. Level 5. Upon a successful divine roll, you can give another person the ability to automatically critically succeed on their knowledge roll. Oh. You can just make someone else smart. That's great, actually. I love that. And speaking of love deities. So Aphrodite, makes sense. First one is self-love. Awesome. Start with the self-love. Don't skip out on it. It's important. You should love yourself. Number 2, Amor. Amor? I actually don't know how the proper pronunciation. I've heard the word. So I think it's like Amor. Yeah. When in romantic relationships, you can add a +1 to all social roles for that person. Okay. Koi. You love your friends is strong and you love to come to their defense. As such, you can add a +1 to your next roll after successfully destroying someone who's made rude to your friends. Upon your failure, you get a -1 to your next roll. Okay, I can get down with that. Philia. When attempting a social roll on an enemy, all critical failures are normal failures. Pragma. You love endures all, allowing you to help those you love even if it hurts. Roll a d6, and then that person can add the number of their next roll, and you must subtract that number for your next roll. Okay. Magic deities are closest to their host, giving them bonuses to the divine, and even a chance to see through the haze of the game. Uh, Hecate. Okay. So close to the divine, you close connection to the deity gives you a +1 to divine rolls. Words dipped in honey. You always know what to say. This gives you a +2 to sway someone on a roll. After a successful divine roll, your next roll gets a +1. Cage. Upon a successful divine roll, you automatically get a critical success on a capture roll against an enemy. creating a spiritual cage to hold them. Upon a failure, you are trapped in the spirit cage and need a successful divine roll to get out. Oh no. See in the future, upon a successful divine roll, you can ask the Lore Weaver a direct question, and that must answer truthfully. You can do this once per day. Interesting. Then there is medicine. Medicine deities help their host heal the ones that they love while also making them formidable in skirmishes. They will often seek hosts who prefer to tend to these who are in need, always looking to build them. Up with carrying words and a helpful hand. The deity example is. I actually don't know how to say that one. Asclepius? Asclepius. I don't know. I give up. Band-Aid! You understand the basics of first aid and get a +1 to all healing rolls. Vital knowledge. You know how to strike to do the most damage and get a +2 to attack rolls. That's very interesting. Medicine was the first one to get like a very early on attack buff. Which, I mean, making the healer be the common aggressor sounds interesting in just the. Yeah, I like that. Calm. Upon a successful divine roll, you automatically calm down. Anyone who has been hurt, upon a failure, you start to panic, and allies have a -1 to calm you down. Oh. Self-sacrificing, or self-sacrifice. During an opponent's attack on another host or NPC, you can step between them, taking the damage. You then have a +3 on all attack and defense rolls against that enemy. Fully alive, upon a successful divine roll, you can heal someone to fill health after making a healing roll. You can do this once a day. Okay. So now there's Moon. Moon deities quietly guide their hosts, giving them the powers of evasion and even the chance to read minds. Oh. New Moon, when attempting to evade in darkness, and +1 to the roll. Oh, I didn't read the example. Example of Moon deity is Selene or Artemis. Yeah, that's red. Crescent Moon, when attempting to sway someone with a song, add a +1 to the roll. Half Moon, at night, you and your allies get a +1 to investigate, as long as it is used to track someone. At 4, Gibbous. Upon a successful divine roll, you can learn someone's deepest fear. It gives yourself a +2 to ruin or sway them. On a critical failure, the other person learns about your deepest fear if they are a member of the Void. Full Moon, when you are attempting to investigate a person, you can read their surface thoughts to tell if they're lying. Make contested divine rolls, even if the person is not a host or a member of the Void. Upon a critical failure, if the person is a host or a member of the Void, they will be able to read your mind. Okay. Then there's Sleep. Like Hypnos. Okay, sleep deities give their hopes a deep connection to the divine, allowing them to do such thing as dream walking. Okay. Introduction, your deity communicates with you in the realm of dreams. You have +1 to divine rolls. Dream Watcher, you can naturally tell people's dreams and decide, and +2 to sway someone. Rim, upon a critical success on a defend roll, you cause the attacker to fall asleep. Mind Games, upon a successful divine roll, you cause a disturbance in someone's brain. They take a 1d6 from this. Upon a failure, take the damage instead. Sleepwalk. Upon a successful divine roll, you can step into someone's dreams. The dream is controlled by the Lore Weaver, but you can make changes upon successful divine rolls. Any damage you take in this state does not carry over for you or the person you're fighting in the dream. That's rad. So we go back to Sun. Or wait, not back to Sun. We go to Sun, because this is what the example character has as their thing, if I remember right. So Sun brings light to their host, gives them abilities over speech, and even the ability to blind their enemies. When attempting to sway someone who does not consider you a friend, add a +1. Okay. Spiteful, when attempting to ruin someone, add a +2. Oh. You know, Yeah, okay. Chariot. You and your allies have a +1 to evade when using a vehicle. Okay. Glow. You absorb the sun's rays throughout the day. Make a divine roll to activate. Once activated, you glow in the dark, giving you and your allies a +1 to all sight-based checks in the dark. However, you also get a -2 to your sneak rolls due to glow. Scorching Ray. Upon a critical success on an attack roll, you do maximum damage and can cause temporary blindness. This gives the attacker a -2 to the next sight-based roll. Oof. That's actually a very powerful capability. I like it. Okay, next we have the Trickster. Trickster deities grant their host the ability to control the narrative through swaying, knowing, and even talking what they are taking what they want. An example is Hermes from Greek mythology. You know, I accept that. Silver Tongue, when attempting to sway someone, add +1. Too smart, you gain +2 to knowledge rolls. Misdirection, you attempt to lie to another host. Treat all normal failures as critical failures as normal failures. Whoops. Unsung Hero, upon a successful defense of a non-host, you become the hero. I'm going to add a +2 to all rolls involving them. Their ability cannot stack. However, if you do critically fail, all rolls against you get a +2. Oh. Borrow. Make a divine roll. On a success, you may borrow another host's special ability once per day. That host loses that ability for the day. Oh boy. Give me a second, I need to clean my glasses. I can't see. Help. Oh, that is much better. Now we're going into war, which we're getting close to the end of the alphabet, so I believe there's not many of these left for this section. Whew. Man. There's a lot of good options, though. A lot of really interesting powers. So, war deities grant their hosts physical and tactical abilities that allow them to protect their friends and family. Okay, this will often seek out hosts who tend to approach situations head on and are able to keep themselves and others safe while keeping the situation under control. And an example is Ares. Yeah. So, level 1, they get Second Strike. You can attack twice on your turn and add a +1 to both attacks. That is a better option than the medicine one to do damage, as that will make you more likely to do damage on a turn. So that's really rad. Shield, you instinctively know how to protect yourself and others. You can add a +2 to your defense rolls. Oh, I see things. I mean, yeah, I guess I am most of the way through the book. So the question is overall thoughts on the system. Is there a story, type of story you want to tell with it? So I love the system so far, just because like it hits the type of niche that I love to tell in general of modern day shenaniganery. Um, I love modern day stories, and it does give me the really good vibes of those like high school hero shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which I always enjoyed watching. Um, so like, I'm very, I'm more curious. I don't know if about running anything specific. I haven't really gotten anything, uh, seeing anything that makes me want to run anything yet. But maybe that's just because I've been kind of in a more wanting to play more games lately. Um, I do think it would be really interesting to do a story with some more like yeah, so some like really interesting things when it comes to okay. The stupid thing that I had popped in my head at when I was reading through some of this was kind of because it makes me almost feel also like not only just that sort of the feeling of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but me being me, I'm also thinking of like Power Rangers and such. And so mixing those two worlds with this would be kind of funny to me. Those two genres. Um, but like I am totally, yeah. I guess I don't know. There have been a couple of questions that's popped up as I gone through of it. I didn't see certain things that I kind of wish I like seeing before getting to this point, because like I don't know enough about the core system. Like I do now know a little bit about making the characters, but I don't know like how much health do people get? What is the common way of doing damage and stuff like that? So those questions are still bubbling in my head. Um, so yeah, I do have a lot of those questions. Uh, but I feel like maybe those questions will be answered soon. And I'm sorry. I actually, because your username is not what I expected. Are you actually the creator? Words, or I'll let that rock as I read through these last abilities. Instinctively know how to protect yourself and others. You can add a +2 to your defense rolls. Level-headed, you can gain a +2 to calm down rolls in a skirmish situation. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm sorry. No, I get that. I was just really confused by the question. Or not the question. I was just, yeah. I understand that you write games. I also write games. Yeah, I would say that I'm experienced. I will say also, like, I'm doing this, because you wasn't here for the beginning. This game is currently getting kickstarted, and I am doing a preview stream for it. Uh, that's what this stream is, obviously. So, right now, I really do like the idea of a lot of the core of it. Uh, I need to get rid of that one. Actually, I could pin messages, so I can just, like... Cool. I didn't realize I could pin. But yeah, no, I really like some of this so far. I mean, there are some parts that I haven't got to, but it's still in development. Obviously, it's getting kickstarted. You know, but the core of the system is really interesting. I vibe with this so much. Um, but I do have some thoughts that I mean, if I don't get some answers to that, I mean, are obviously some holes. Uh, that needs to be covered. But that's kind of the point of the stream, right? Is to read through it, get people excited like I am, and yeah. So water. Going into the next one, water deities help their hosts go with the flow by giving them control of their emotions and the ability to breathe on water. Battling breath, you get a +1 to knowledge by talking through it. Calm pond, by being a calm presence, you can give someone a +2 to their calm down roll. Wet, you gain a +1 to all attacks dealing with the water while wet. If you critically fail on those rolls, you get a +1. It goes away for the scene. A scene can be defined by the warrior and it will change when you move locations. Water whip. On a successful divine roll, you can use water to make a water whip, and all attacks with this weapons get a +1. Breath. On a successful divine roll, you get a +3 to evade while wet or in water, and gain the ability to breathe underwater. This is really cool. By the way, words, if you have any other questions about this game or any of the other ones, just let me know. I love to answer questions. Okay, so we'll actually get into some actual mechanic crunch here soon. Cool. Oh, God. Eyes itchy. So, weather deities imbue their hosts with the might of the storm by allowing them to stay calm and even change their luck in the eye of the storm. Okay, so an example of this weather deity is Zeus from Greek mythology. Solid. Meteorologist, you always know the weather for the day without having to look or having and have a +1 to investigate while outside. Yeah, I love the roleplay ability plus an actual status ability, like a +1 stat ability. Like that is rad. Give more roleplay abilities. Favorite thing are roleplay capabilities. Evening showers, you have a calm presence about you and get a +1 to calm someone. Snowed in, much like a snowstorm, you know how to keep people in place, giving you a +2 to capture someone. Fog, upon a successful divine roll, you can create fog, giving yourself and all others a +3 to flee. Eye of the Storm, upon a successful divine roll, you roll 2d6s for any roll and take the higher of the two. Use this 3 times per day. Upon a success or failure, you must roll 2d6s and take the lower of the two. Okay, cool. Stretch. The game requires 2d6 to share, or 2d6 per person at the table. For each roll, you will roll 2d6 and add the total together. Then add any bonuses or remove any banes. This is the owner. She has chosen to take a +1 to social power and a +1 to mental power when she sits down to play her instrument. She will make a perform roll with 2d6 and add a +1 to the roll. If she rolls a 4 and a 3 on her 2 dice, she will have a total of 7 when she adds her +1. She is now at her final total of 8. You know, that's rad, actually. Successes and failures. So dice rolls are broken into 4 types. Except for divine rolls and healing rolls, which will be converted later. Critical failure. The action does not happen. You will discuss as a table how that scene goes wrong. You're encouraged to fail forward if you want to. If you don't, that is okay. Sometimes messing up is more fun for the table. Failure. The action does not happen, but there is no penalty. Success. The action happens as intended. The action critical success. The action happens, and you will discuss at the table how the scene goes right. We encourage you to make an action as amazing as possible so the person who rolled a critical success looks as cool as they can. Okay. Critical rolls. When playing, there's a chance for things to go very, very well, or go very well and very badly. It's all up to the dice. Critical rolls give the host and lore weaver a chance to come together and shape the epic as a teamwork. Critical success allows the host and lore weaver to discuss how the success will give the host an extra bonus in the story. It will help. It is up to both parties to figure out how the solution, even if the solution is as easy as I want the action to happen as intended. Okay. And then critical failure allows the host and lore to discuss how the failure will take place in the story. Blah, blah, yeah, okay. Remember, you are a team. The host and lore weaver should be in agreement about what happens if an agreement cannot be reached. Treat the roll as a normal success or failure. Okay. Divine rolls do not have a critical success or failure. You only succeed or fail the roll. So they are 1 to 7 for a failure and 8 or higher for success as it happens. This is where we get into the actual health system. Cool. Covers how to run a skirmish in the event of the physical altercation. It also covers the rules for health, what happens in the event of a character death, and the rules for anxiety meter. My anxiety meter is always maxed. I am always anxious. I am always dying. So during the skirmish, each player has an action and a reaction. The host and lore weaver will roll a d6. Every time everyone's name in order. This is the first. So just 1d6 to find out initiatives. Okay. Elise gets to go first. She will make her attack roll against Taylor. At the same time, Taylor will get a reaction to make a defend roll to avoid being hit. The person who gets the higher roll wins the roll. If Elise wins, she will roll the damage. If Taylor wins, there will be no damage rolled or assigned to Taylor. For Taylor's turn, no one to pass Ryan and Annette. Okay, yeah, pretty simple. Rules to remember: you must succeed on a roll for the action to take place. Person initiating the action, the person who is reacting, roll at the same time. Whoever has the higher roll wins the action, unless it's a tie. Tie always goes to the host or friendly NPC in the event of an NPC versus NPC search. Okay. Rolls in a skirmish, right? And we've kind of seen these before. We got the normal rolls or the normal actions. So damage and health. Okay, so normally is around 1d6, though guns are powerful at 2d6. I guess that's not make them powerful, but like have some good averaging. On average, should be more powerful. Uh, what is a minimum of 1 damage? Yeah. Okay. So this kind of creates a very interesting damage die grouping, right? Because there's only 4 different damage groups, damage tiers. A very tight 3, and then gun. All non-hosts have a total of 6 health. Hosts and host hunters will follow the level rules instead, listed below. Okay, so it's 12, 12, 18, 18, 24, 20. And then probably if there was a level 6, it'd be 24, and then 30, and then, yeah. You can heal from all damage unless you have taken to 0 health. When you reach level 0, you are considered dead. As you lose health in a skirmish. Right, I think that's what the vibe they was going for, that white gun popped out so much. And maybe we could expand upon this to be like also things. This is something like I could bring up the creator. Like maybe gun could be like that 2d6 category is also for like special weaponry. Um like if you got a legendary sword, maybe that would be a d6 or 2d6s instead of just a 1d6 plus 1, right? Kind of like treating the extra d6. It's just on average all guns would be 2d6. And guns by themselves are very hard to get compared to, well, depending on the story and whatnot, it might be harder to get than all these other things. I did not want to actually. Whoops. I want you to trash this highlight. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. Hmm. Okay. So you can heal for all damage unless you have taken to 0 health. When you reach 0, you are considered dead. See the Blessing of the God for the rules concerning death. Okay. Health penalties. As you lose health in a skirmish, your body begins to show the effects. While your health is at certain thresholds, you will need to remember to add penalties to each attack roll you make throughout the day until you're able to heal while healing rolls or sleep at night. See the healing section below for the rules for healing. When you're at half of your normal health, you lose a -1. At quarter of your normal health, you have a -2. Every night, you heal just a little bit. When you wake up from the full night's rest, and are not at full health, you roll 1d6 per level to heal. There's no bonuses or bans to heal from sleep. Okay. Wait, what? When you wake up from a full night's rest, you roll 1d6 per level. Oh, Elise is a 5-level character, so she would gain 5d6. Okay, cool. I read this as level 1 for some reason. Okay, a healing roll is a mental ability that can be used during the day, and then skirmishes. Healing rolls do not have critical success or critical failure. Yeah. If you fail, this is interesting that they are on a different, sorry, I want to check something. So yeah, 1 to 7 failure on those. This is probably a typo, but I'm going to make note of it. The different thresholds for success than others. If you fail, there is no penalty. However, if you exceed, you roll 1d6 per level based on your character level. Not many typos. I haven't really been looking for typos. I will always say I'm not an editor. Like, I myself am bad at catching typos. But there are, like, this is a mechanical problem, right? Like, it may not even be a problem, but was this something that was considered? Oh, that is not what's currently going on here. Whoops, Nightbot. I failed you. But yeah, so there is a couple things that I've noticed, but maybe not something that I'm going to bring up. Like, I'm also big when it comes to certain kerning. Kerning is the space between certain characters. And I was kind of bugged by capital Y kerning because they felt a lot further than they really needed to be. But on this page, I can't see any capital Y's, so it's not something I can really show. But that's just a font thing. But this is very much a mechanical issue, or again, doesn't have to be an issue. It just is a inconsistency that should be brought up that I did notice because, well, if 8 is the common success minimum, why is this different? Why is everyone essentially getting a +1 or a -1 to? Why is it easier to heal than all other actions? Okay, Blessing of the Gods. The first time your character is taken to 0 health and dies, your deity offers you a blessing. As a host, you can choose to be resurrected by your deity at full health. Until the danger has passed, your deity will take over, giving you 48 health and access to all abilities without the need to be a successful divine roll. The Lord Weevil and your host will co-pilot the character at this point. Once the danger has passed, you will stabilize at full health. Okay, so you get 1 chance when you go into Death Rage. But 48 health is huge. You should be able to do so much with that much barrier, right? Like, that is... Considering that a level 5, which is, as of the time of this version of the PDF, it is the maximum that a character can have, that's huge. Going into social anxiety. He wasn't in here when I started this, words, I don't think, but the main of the characters is in high school. So them being in the high school, social anxiety. Makes sense that this is in here. While everyone tries the best to keep cool, there might be some moments, like major presentations and even being called on in class, that give you anxiety, causing them to potentially go awry. Conversely, making yourself look good in front of you or your peers, or calming conversations with a friend can ease your stress. On your character sheet, you will see a social anxiety scale. This will be how you track your stress levels throughout the epic. Each day, you will start at the neutral notch in the middle and draw a circle. As you move through the day, you'll notice the circle go up or down on the scale, depending on how you roll on social actions or how your character is feeling. You can find rules on the social anxiety scale below. Social actions will affect the anxiety scale. Whoops. Critical success on a social roll can give you immediate stress relief and allow you to move down on the notch. Critical failures on a social roll cause an immense amount of anxiety and move you down on a notch on the scale. Normal success on calm down rolls will move you back to neutral notch. Critical successes on calm down rolls will move you directly to the lowest notch on the anxiety scale. Each notch on the meter, besides the neutral position, will give you either a bonus or a bane to all the rolls. The lowest notch on the meter indicates a very calm and confident demeanor and gives you a +2 to all social rolls. The next lowest notch indicates a relatively calm and content demeanor and gives you a +1 to all social rolls. The second highest notch indicates a relatively stressed demeanor and gives a -1 to all social rolls. Okay. Perfect. Makes sense. I'm going to write a note here. Because I kind of want to see. Because one of the things that I mentioned during the clicks, because each character can have a click, or every character has to have a click. Every host of these has to have a click. Where I'm thinking that maybe the social anxiety can be tied to that in some way. Because I'm kind of like wondering if maybe clicks, you can have some way of using your click to interact with this anxiety cape thing a little bit differently. I don't know. I wanted to see clicks have a little bit more effects. I am going to go ahead and just call this part of this here. I'm going to go back and I'm going to look back on the Kickstarter. Looking at this because I have looked through and I kind of answered a lot of my questions. There's still a little bit more. I believe this has the sample version on the Kickstarter. So if you wanted to check out the game, you totally can do that. Go into their Kickstarter, and they are, like I said at the beginning of this, they started the Kickstarter at the beginning of this month. They're already a third of the way there, and they're rocketing forward, right? I am so excited for this. In reading this, I'm actually very excited to see how this goes forward for them. So, like, let's look at some of these things on this Kickstarter. So we got an example, snips, clicks. Yeah. Hey, the art on this is so great. I like the chalk look for these. And also, it's really great that they added in actual text right below these images. One of the things is that accessibility wise, you can't read these with screen readers, the images. So it's kind of great that they did that. DD types, which yeah, I've went over through all of this stuff. But again, I love this chalkboard. Thanks. Reward levels. So they're doing a thing where you can get a $5 community copy of it, for like a PDF copy of it. And there is a number of community copies equal to the number of physical copies bought plus, or times 5. I will fix that in a hot second, or, well, I will share that link in a second, words. Digital copy, the tier gives you access to a full color PDF copy of the text-only PDF, soft cover, 30, hardcover, cool. And then, do they have any stretch goals? They do. So stretch goals, so if they get a 6,000, there will be a prom one-shot. Ooh, that sounds great. Doing like a one-shot based on like balancing going to prom and some sort of evil cult doing mischievous things. At 9,000, 2 new clicks. At 12,000, 2 new deity types. And 15,000, alternative art. Art Nouveau. Okay. So, yeah. This is awesome. So I'm going to go back to the top. I'm really excited for this and seeing how this goes. I know that I'm probably going to pitch myself on this at some point in the future for this, and maybe I will talk with them about doing more help with this and do some marketing for them or something. I don't know. We'll chill. We're chill here.